What is the bylaw?
Okay, just a second.
The one that says finance next to it.
What did I do with the letter from the attorney?
Yeah, I have one.
It's the one that we weren't sure that Mark was going to put.
Dayton's regular Board of Selectmen's regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. This meeting is in person and via Zoom at Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Avenue, Dayton, Mass. You can join the Zoom meeting. The meeting ID is 818-7024-8845. The passcode to join is 912203. The phone number to call is 646-931-3860. Public input may be provided using the following methods. Contact our office at boardofselectmen@dayton-ma.gov to provide input prior to the meeting, or B, join as via Zoom at 646-931-3860, or in person. This is going to be continually played on Dayton Channel 9 and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Town of Dayton. This meeting is being recorded. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Can we have a call to order, please?
Nicole Mello, present.
And Peter Karen, present. I'm going to ask that everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And can you just stay standing after the Pledge of Allegiance? We had some neighbors lost their lives this week, and we'd like to make a mention of them. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We lost 4 neighbors this week, and we'd just like to mention their names. The first one is Thurston Grant. Apparently, he was a original teacher to the DR High School. He taught automotive mechanics and started in September 1960 until his retirement. He's the last surviving teacher of the original class. Cheryl Longton, Michael Oliveira, Laura Pina, and David Rogers. Thank you. First up is appointments, and we have Dayton Rehoboth Regional School District, Mr. Bill Rooney, to draft proposed composition of the Dayton Elementary School Building Committee. Mr. Rooney, how are you today?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Chair, if I may, since I have the floor, I was wondering if I could just carry on two other little pieces of business quickly. I just wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate Selectman Pacheco and thank him for his interest in this project. we took a tour together, and it was wonderful to see that the buy-in from the selectmen was not going to be interrupted when Mr. Hull chose not to run for re-election. And speaking of Mr. Hull, I just want to take the opportunity to extend my personal appreciation to him. As everyone knows, for the last 2 years, he's been the liaison between the selectmen and the school committee, and his presence at our meetings has been very helpful, and I've leaned on him for a lot of advice, and I'm glad to say that he's not going into retirement, so to speak, because he's going to participate on our high school council. So since I'm here, I just wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge those two situations. Also, I do want to thank the town for the collaboration on the FY25 budget process. I know we still have a long way to go, but the reasonable and rational conversations that we've been able to have, I think, show that there's a definite sense of teamwork. I was very pleased to learn this afternoon that the House of Representatives did pass the recommendation from the House Ways and Means Subcommittee to increase the per pupil expenditure from $30 to $104. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that the Senate will pass that as well. And that will certainly provide, it won't provide all the relief that we're looking for, but it will certainly provide some relief. So thank you for that. I want to preface this conversation about the MSBA process by saying that I pride myself on the power of positivity. So when I speak of things in the future, please understand that I am always mindful of the fact that the residents of the town are going to have to weigh in on a couple of very important votes. So please don't misinterpret my positivity for assumptions on my part. But I do like to think in the positive. It's been a pleasure to collaborate with Town Administrator Mullen on this proposed composition of the school building committee. As many of you know, I learned firsthand in the city of Attleboro how the school building committee, the SBC, is the heart of the project. It is the foundation on which the process is built. And I know we are very eager to get the selection process approved by the selectmen and start to move forward with it, because our 270-day period starts in 7 days. So there is a lot of work to be done in the next 277 days, and the SBC will accomplish a tremendous amount of that work. Last night at our school committee for the Dighton-Rehoboth Regional School District, I did review this proposal with them. I did make it clear that it's obviously your decision. It is your building, it's your town's building. But our school committee was in support of the proposal that Mr. Mullen and I are making to you tonight. The MSBA obviously has requirements, but they also have recommendations. And the beauty of the combination of those two things is that you create a very diverse set of voices. You have elected leaders, you have educators, you have experts that are in the field, you have family members that are passionate about the education that's in the town. And so a school building committee of roughly 15 or so individuals is robust enough to provide diverse voices, whereas it's still not unwieldy to make it difficult to have a quorum or be able to get everybody together. And so that's really small print, but I'm going to do the best I can to read it from here. Thank you, Mr. Mullen. All right. So one of the obvious requirements of the MSBA is that there be a school building committee member who is MCPPO certified. So that is the Massachusetts Purchasing and Procurement Certification. And it is historically the district business administrator. Currently, we are in the process of hiring a new district business administrator. And if you approve this proposal, then obviously that person would be someone who would have that MCPPO certification and would have a seat on the school building committee. The local chief executive officer would be obviously your designee. I know that Town Administrator Mullen and I have been exchanging some emails with the MSBA in terms of whether it is their recommendation that that is actually the chair of the selectmen that takes that seat, or whether the selectmen decide which of the selectmen becomes that designee. Obviously, the administrator or manager would be Mr. Mullen. Although the MSBA has a minimum of one school committee member, Mr. Mullen and I know that the value that our school committee members in Dighton place on education, and so it is our recommendation to you that we have 2 school committee members on the SBC. Superintendent of Schools, District Facilities Director. This next one, representative of office authorized by law to construct school buildings. This is another one that we have consulted with the MSBA. The MSBA has already said that the superintendent does check that box, but we're pursuing this with town council. And if there is an opportunity for there to be another individual that fills that seat, we feel that it adds to the diversity of the voices. We don't want this process to be insular. We want it to be a situation where we have as many voices as possible. Mr. Mullen, I don't know if you have any update from town council.
You know, I haven't heard back from him yet, like on this, but like in the guidance that Superintendent Rooney received, like in the guidance that Superintendent Rooney received back from the MSBA, they actually in their rationale to have a leader within the school district, the rationale was to have someone representative who'd be able to actually bind the district to different types of agreements. So here, that would be the superintendent. The question that we're just trying to reconcile with town council is that when we get into regional districts, there are some regionals that own all the school buildings, and then there are regionals like ours where the town actually owns the building and the property. So that question in how to really thread the needle based on that question is what we just want to run through town council before, in order to really help inform us of who the best person would be best to appoint there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Obviously, the school principal is a vital component of the school building committee. Mr. Mullen, if you wouldn't mind scrolling for me. Thank you. And then these next slots are ones that are really vital to the process. Not that the others aren't, but if you look at this one that's at the top of the screen, a member that is knowledgeable in the educational mission and function of the facility. We are blessed to have many educators, many past graduates of our school system, and also residents in our towns that are very knowledgeable about the mission of education and the value of an inclusive and state-of-the-art facility. Dighton Elementary School right now, as it stands, is doing an excellent job of preparing our students to move on to middle school and ultimately be prepared for their high school experience. But it is grossly negligent from the standpoint of ADA compliance, LEED certification, energy efficiency, even just power upgrades and things like that. So if you approve this process, being able to have a volunteer selected by you that is knowledgeable about the educational mission within the town is going to be crucial. A local budget official or member of the local finance committee, as Mr. Mullen has put here, that would be a member of your choosing from the Dayton financial team. And then members of the community with architecture, engineering, and/or construction experience. I know that when I was on the Attleboro High School project, we had a lot of experts in the town who had either graduated from the high school or they had their children in the high school, and they were experts in those areas. And when they were chosen for the school building committee, they were extremely valuable as we were talking about, different types of wiring, different types of materials for the buildings. It was crucial to have those experts on the school building committee. And then the last portion here is a recommendation that we have that not only the selectmen, but also the school committee choose an at-large designee. I anticipate there's going to be a lot of interest in this. I'm hoping that there are going to be a lot of folks that are going to submit a volunteer application for this. And there are going to be some people that are going to end up getting left out. But if you have a situation where maybe somebody doesn't quite fit the bill in one of the other boxes, I think that there's a nice opportunity not only for the school committee, but also for the selectmen to be able to have an at-large designee. In closing, I'll just have to say that, living this life for 7 years as the principal of Attleboro High School and being a member of that school building committee, we will make sure that we consult with all of the experts and all of the authorities in town as we go through the process. So I'll give you an example. The fire chief and the police chief were not on the school building committee, but they were consistently consulted by members of the school building committee as we went through the process. The building inspector was not on the school building committee, but he was someone that was integral to our discussions. And so, again, I think Mr. Mullen and I feel like a number of around 15 is enough for us to be having diverse perspectives, but also not have, a situation where the scheduling becomes unwieldy. I think it's also important to know that the community will have ample opportunity to consult in this process. There will be visioning sessions. So again, thinking in the positive, we get to a point where we've chosen an owner's project manager. We get to a point where, we're starting to have a vision for what the building would look like. The visioning sessions are going to be crucial. And in Attleboro, the visioning sessions were roughly 30 to 35 people, and they were 3 full days over the course of 2 weeks where a consultant was brought in, and all of the ideas, all of the priorities for the community were brought forth, and we were able to pull those all together in the design for the new Attleboro High School. And I think about what you've accomplished in this town. Like most recently, the beautiful new playground that, has accessibility for all. That is something that is going to be a crucial opportunity for our community members to be able to have their voices heard, so that if this project comes to fruition, that there will be a building that, our community will definitely be proud of. So whether it's through visioning sessions or focus groups, that is going to be a community effort. So.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm assuming that nobody's names are going to be duplicated, correct? One person won't fulfill another opening.
I think, Mr. Chair, the only one that really right now is that could possibly be that one or be a duplicate is the one that Mr. Mullen has referred to town council in terms of the representative who's, able to sign off on new buildings. But it's our hope that town council is going to come back with a recommendation that allows for a separate person to be in that, because again, the diversity of the voices is extremely important.
How do you propose to get the word out that you're looking for volunteers?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, like if I could, like I think, yeah, like what I would recommend to that point, once the composition structure is approved by the board, like I think as a follow-up, hopefully before the end of this week, the superintendent and I and our office will be able to work together to collaborate on an announcement to create basically and to actually share and advertise really the buckets of positions, if you will, that we have, that we will be able to share in newsletters, and on our websites, on social media, and then just based on the magnitude of what we're trying to do here, typically we do try to advertise for 2 weeks. I think trying to advertise for 3 weeks, 3 weeks at least, would be really helpful and worthwhile. We are, because we're approaching the 270-day time clock start, ideally it would be great to have a structure appointed, hopefully no later than after the first part of June. So then, at that point, the committee can be sworn in, the committee can meet, and part of the obligation that we have with the MSBA is also, once the committee is formed and first meets, the committee needs to name a chair. And that is part of the requirement, the compliance requirement that we first have to meet with the MSBA. So having that timeline, it sounds like and we actually are ahead of the 270-day window, but once we start going, in my experience with these projects as well, that 270-day window, once we account for 3 weeks advertising, then another probably week or week and a half, 2 weeks to appoint everybody, it does actually move really quickly.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Miller, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Mr. Pacheco?
I do.
All right.
So thank you, Superintendent Rooney, for coming out tonight and talking
course.
to us. And I did want to reiterate, I really enjoyed the tour that I had. It was good to see with my own eyes the state of the school and to see how important it is that we move forward with this project. And my question is, you did talk about, but 15 members sounds to me like it might be tough to get business done with 15 different folks. I feel like in an hour, if everyone got the same amount of time, they could talk for 4 minutes, you know? So I guess my question is, in Attleboro, and I really appreciate your experience there, do you know how many people would have been on that or any other similar projects?
It was a little bigger project. Obviously building a school for 2,000 kids, as opposed to one that's, more like 700. So we did have a few more people on it. I want to say it was no more than 17.
Okay.
But you do raise a good point. There were times where scheduling was difficult, but there were times where, as long as we had a quorum, we were able to move forward. And the structure of the school building committee is that the owner's project manager is the one who, even though there will be a chair, the owner's project manager is the one who basically is running the meeting. They come in and they'll do a PowerPoint presentation for the SBC members. They'll give timeline check-ins, materials check-ins, any possible material delays, and then they'll open the floor for questions. And then typically, after you accomplish that business, then it's just a matter of like paying the bills. So you have to vote to approve warrants for various contractors and things like that.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Welcome.
Where do you envision these meetings taking place?
I mean, you want to have a a nice, comfortable conference room type setup where people can be seen and people can be heard. We have a space like that at the high school. There's not really a space like that that's conducive at the elementary school, but we could use the library at the elementary school. I don't know what your thoughts are, Mr. Mullen, in terms of town facilities.
Yeah, like Old Town here is an option as well. Like I think one of the things we'd want to do based on really the significance of the project, wherever it's held, make sure we have a real strong cable, like a really strong cable compatibility. So we do have, based on the, just my opinion, the gravity of what's being proposed, having a very strong cable link, so we are able to offer wherever the meeting is more than just a Zoom, more than just a Zoom meeting, like with really good audio, visuals, things like that. Obviously, we've been continuing to work on this space, and we can work with the school district as we jump off to identify together what we all agree is the best space for that.
Awesome. I think that's all I have. Thank you both for working on this so hard, and this is a good start.
Thank you.
So with that said, I would like to make a motion to approve the proposed composition of the Dayton Elementary School Building Committee.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Karen is an aye. Well, congratulations, it's the first step.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Very
you.
excited.
Thank you.
Chief, you're here. Yes, sir.
The only question I have on the support of the school, is this gonna come down to not being the district doing this building, and it's just gonna rely on the town? Because like has been said, each town owns their own school. So is it only gonna be the town that's gonna contribute to this school, or is it gonna be the district?
I believe it's just going to be the town, but
Yeah, the town based on the regional agreement, we have to fund the capital on our own. Any investments we have to own, and we have to fund that, and we have to fund as a community. We don't, the district, becomes a pass-through for all intents and purposes at that point.
But I just want people to understand it's not gonna be the school district that's really gonna do the building. You know, like Bristol Aggie or Bristol
Right.
Plymouth. It's just gonna be the town of Dayton.
Correct.
Which, you know, like I said, I'm in support of it. Anything to do with education, I'm in support of it. But I want people to understand